Yo, and what is up, gang? Thank you for checking out Sledgehammer TV tonight. Oh, man, was Monday Night Raw one heck of a disaster. I couldn't take even 1 minute of it. You know why? Because Shane O'Mac, Mr. Shane McSweatstain, showed up on Monday Night Raw again, which is never good news, and it was made even worse because he didn't even want to do anything worth watching. He wanted to start a fight club, and he came and dropped his buckets of sweat all over the basement of the Performance Center with a bunch of nobodies that nobody gives a crap about, watching them pretend to fight for real, which I know is what wrestling is, but without the ring, it's just stupid. They were doing phony shoot fights. So everybody do me a favor. Get yourself your little sweat rag that you go and use when you go to the gym so you can wipe off your TV screens after watching Shane McMahon. Wipe the sweat from your face because I know you're dripping with anticipation for tonight's review because it's going to be a good one as we bring the hammer down on one of the worst experiences I've ever had watching Monday Night Raw. Right here and right now. My name is Nick Nightmare, and you are watching a very hot and bothered Monday Night Raw review right here on Sledgehammer TV. Oh boy, let's do it.
The Sledgehammer Wrestling Show.
What the hell are you talking about? What is going on? What?
I can't explain it. That was me. That was me through this whole show. I couldn't take it. How can you have one episode of Monday Night Raw contain a murder plot? A plot to murder Montez Ford. Somebody poisoned Montez. We had arsonists outside. We had terrorists taking down the Performance Center power gauge by throwing Molotov cocktails outside. This all really happened. And then we had Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon starts a fight club. He wants to take Def Jam Vendetta and make it real life. He wants to have a bunch of guys in the basement sweating balls, all standing around each other, fighting for nothing. He introduces the Raw Underground. Isn't Raw already far enough underground as it is? Shouldn't we be rising Raw up? No. Let's take our towels and wipe the Shane sweat from Monday Night Raw because I can't take it. It stinks. It absolutely stinks like actual sweat that remember when we used to all go to the gym and it used to have that dank sweat smell, and you miss that smell right now, but we don't miss Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon is not the answer. A Raw Underground Fight Club is not the answer. I don't care what the motivation is. I don't. It was stupid. They were like 2-3 minute long shoot fights, where the first fight was some guy, Babatunde, Dada Kappa, Poopa Kappa, whatever the hell his name was. I don't know. He was in the Greatest Royal Rumble. He was eliminated by Braun Strowman, and now he's in this fight club with Shane McMahon. Why do I care about Oba Babatumba? Or whatever the hell his name is. I don't care. You don't care. Why are we seeing him and not seeing Cedric Alexander and Ricochet and other talents that we actually want to watch wrestle? Why do we gotta see the Viking Raiders be pushed even lower? The Viking Raider Warrior Raiders decided they're gonna be part of Fight Club tonight. Instead of being put in a tag team match in the tag team division, which is pretty much non-existent. But you'd rather have them do that. Because they're losers. They took all their losers and threw them in the basement and said, pretend to fight. Pretend to fight for real. Don't pretend to fight like wrestling. Pretend to fight for real. If I want to watch the UFC, I could go do that. You know what I don't watch? UFC. Because I don't like it. I don't enjoy it. I prefer pro wrestling, but tonight this was not my wrestling. This isn't the wrestling we remember and enjoy and love. This is the brainchild of Shane McSweatstain. And it ruined everything. They built this anticipation. 10 o'clock, the Raw Underground, and I didn't care. I didn't care the minute I seen it. The minute he dropped those first beads of sweat off of his foreheads onto my television screen, I was done. I don't care if Vince McMahon himself, Triple H, the Lord above, the great Jesus could have came down and said, hey, this is what wrestling is now. And I would have been like, no thank you, Jesus. You could take that shit elsewhere. Why don't you focus on the show you have instead of trying these yearly experiments to do something new and something different? Oh, you always want new, you always want different, but you're sitting on it. I want wrestling. I don't want bullshit. This is bullshit. It's a desperation thing. They told us Shane McMahon's going to show up tonight. I was already out. I already didn't want to watch. But then they also teased the debut of some faction. Some faction made it known that they were coming to Raw at the Performance Center tonight. Who? Was the Raw Underground the faction? Are we reintroducing the Hurt Business even though they're a couple of losers? These guys are the actual new faction of Monday Night Raw for the last few weeks. And they're already trash. You got MVP as the lead man. He's getting United States Championship matches because reasons. Because he's 40, and I guess you have to be 40 or over to be pushed in the WWE. You got Bobby Lashley standing in the background doing nowhere, and Shelton Benjamin walking around with the Avocado Toast Championship belt, and then he even lost that. MVP loses. Shelton Benjamin loses. Bobby Lashley does nothing. Why not use the faction you just created? What about all the rumors of a new nation of domination? These things you don't want to do, but you want to show us 5 clowns dressed up like Akira Tozawa's ninjas because you couldn't tell the difference, they just dressed in all black, blowing up some sort of a box in the parking lot via security cam footage, and you see them celebrating and getting all happy that they're burning public, equipment for the WWE. They're committing arson and they're happy about it and they're cheering like teenagers and yeah, we did it, yeah. Who the hell are they? Everybody, I love watching everybody all day. All the other people that you watch, all of the guys that are bigger than me and better than me all day, jerking off. Oh, the Undisputed is coming to Monday Night Raw and I can't wait to see you. Are they going to shock the system? You know what they did? They shocked my system, and not in a good way. They shocked me into actually considering I don't know if I can do this shit anymore. I don't. This was a test of all of our patience. And they continue to try these stupid things and bait and switch us and tell us all this stuff and make us tune in, and as usual do not deliver on the promise because they're so obsessed with getting that rating number up. Stop worrying about the rating. Worry about the quality of your fucking show. Kevin Owens, one of the greatest wrestlers on the planet, has come back to Raw, and since we've seen him come back, he has been a figurehead for the fucking women's division, and not wrestling in any particularly good matches or anything that will get him over. And what do we get tonight? We get an announcement next week, Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. Why? Because Ric Flair pissed Kevin Owens off? Has no world title ramifications, not on a pay-per-view, almost ice cold with no build. Just like they did tonight with Sasha and Shayna Baszler. Ice cold. Zero momentum. Unadvertised. Random. And it did nothing. It did nothing. There was a backstage segment where Shayna Baszler missed Sasha Banks by a mile with a right hook, but she sold it like the professional that she is. And then we get a match between these two girls. Shayna versus Sasha. I was already pissed that it was happening, but then the WWE, Vince McMahon's all over this segment and sends out Bayley with Sasha as always. But this prompts Asuka to come out and attack Bayley, who has nothing to do with the match. Neither of the girls on the outside made their way into the match. They were not doing anything to interfere with what was going on inside the ring, and the referee called for the bell and rang for a disqualification. Why? Have you forgotten the rules of wrestling just like you've forgotten the rules of Fight Club? What's the first rule of Fight Club? You don't talk about Fight Club, but we talked about it all night. Now we're still talking about it here and now. And the first fucking rule. Oh my God. It's so bad. I don't know how much more I can take. Dominic Mysterio showed up and single-handedly took care of 2 former World Heavyweight Champions because he's the son of Rey Mysterio and he knows how to do a 619. That made sense. Why did that piss me off so much? Not just because the giant baby man son of Rey Mysterio doesn't really have any momentum going into it aside from one little tackle of Seth Rollins last week, but you teased a match with Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe, one of the greatest wrestlers along with Kevin Owens that has ever been signed by the WWE. Another one that has been tremendously underutilized in the WWE. I enjoy Samoa Joe on commentary, and I enjoy what Samoa Joe did, standing up for Tom Phillips as Seth Rollins was going to exact some vengeance because Tom Phillips took enjoyment of what Dominic did to Seth last week. And you teased Seth Rollins versus Joe. And you gave me Dominic Mysterio instead. And Samoa Joe seen Dominic come down. He's like, yeah, no, I'm good now. I wasn't just about to ram your face into the ring post. I'm not angry anymore. Little Dominic's here. He's going to take care of fucking everything. Where are they thinking? What are they thinking? Where are they going with any of this? None of it makes sense. You got the lights flickering on and off all night. You got microphones going out, trying to build intrigue and suspense. And all you did was test my patience and build up my anxiety from how much I am hating watching this show now. This was one of the most desperate episodes they've ever put together. I feel like when they woke up this morning, they had a whole different plan. And they told everybody, oh, you gotta watch tonight's Raw. And I seen lots of guys on Twitter and on social media going, oh, make sure you guys don't fall asleep during Raw tonight. It's gonna be big. What's big? Babatunde? Whatever the hell his name is? Dadakuka? Kukapaka? They got easier names to remember in Animal Crossing. What a disastrous show this was. We've only touched on a couple of topics. We didn't even mention the fact that they reunited Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan just to fight the Iconics. And this is what they had for Kevin Owens. This is all they had for him tonight. Holy cow. It gets even worse from there. Let's go match by match here now that I got some of my gust out there, you know what I mean? I had to get it out because it's just festering within me like it's like something that don't belong there and you just got to get it out. The United States Championship match. Apollo Crews defeats MVP. Fine. But when you've seen the new United States Championship side by side with the old United States Championship, did you not feel like it looked like a toy? Like they only built it and designed it in the particular way that they did so that it actually can be made into a toy? I don't even like the old belt. I thought the old belt definitely needed work, but the old belt is better looking than the new belt. I don't know why I feel that way. It's just what my eyes tell me in my brain. When I see it, my brain goes, meh, no, the old one's better. The old one's better. And the old one is crap. So what does that say? MVP wants to blame the fact that the lights are going out on the reason why he lost, when the lights did not go out at the moment of the match when he lost. There was no technical difficulties at the end of the match. Happened a little bit during the middle of the match. Didn't really play much into the match. Didn't cause him to be distracted. Didn't sell it that way, at least. And then he still wants to go out talking about how the Hurt Business doesn't get respect. We don't go out there and handle our business? No, you don't. No, you don't. You've done nothing but look at the lights for weeks. And then we have Bobby Lashley jumping into the ring afterwards, and Apollo Crews makes it out of there. And then we go to the backstage and see Charlie Caruso backstage talking to Apollo Crews about what just happened. And Apollo Crews just absolutely blew it on the mic. I don't know if he was overexcited or didn't get a chance to catch his breath. Maybe he should have came back to him later in the show and not do this right after the match thing so the guy can know what the hell he's got to say. Talking about his family, talking about his daughters. He's going to hang the old United States Championship in his daughter's room. Good for you. Good for you, Apollo. Just get out there and wrestle, will you please? And stop with the smiling. You smiled too much. You were going in the right direction. You had a little edge. And now I don't know what they're doing with him. I don't know what they're doing with him. And then you got MVP imitating Brock Lesnar. I don't give a shit about his kids. Nobody does. Nobody watching this show does. Only Apollo Crews in this situation should actually care about his own children. It's fine. I don't. I have my own child to worry about. I don't care about his kids. Just like Brock Lesnar. Who cares? That has nothing to do with pro wrestling. You just won definitively the United States Championship, and this is what you decide to talk about. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Then we got to talk to Sasha Banks and Bayley. They're doing their Sasha Banks and Bayley thing, and their promo gets interrupted by Asuka. She wants some revenge. So now I'm looking forward to Asuka taking on Sasha Banks at some point, which we are still going to get. But then they threw in the wrench of Shayna Baszler coming in and saying, oh, I'm so tired of hearing you. This is blah, blah, blah. And then misses the right hook by about that much. Terrible. And I'm a big fan of Shayna Baszler. But that spot, if it wasn't done right, should have been refilmed or cut completely. Because only a blind man missed the fact that she didn't land that punch. Kevin Owens is walking backstage and the Iconics, they want to be on the Kevin Owens show. Why? Why would Kevin Owens even want them to be on the show? He said, unfortunately for us, he already had a guest for tonight. So he told the Iconics to take a hike, pretty much. We get the Kevin Owens show to bring back Ruby Riott. Going to reunite her with Liv Morgan. Now, in this moment, the exchange between Liv and Ruby was actually very good. It was very dramatic. It was kind of heartfelt. But you knew where it was going. You knew the Riot Squad was getting back together because there are no girls' tag teams. But now at least there's two. There's two legit girls' tag teams. One of them sucks to high hell, and the other one just got back together tonight. At least they got the win in their very quick matchup against the Iconics following the confrontation with Kevin Owens. The Iconics smacked Kevin Owens in the face tonight. First Peyton Royce, and then Billy Kay, and that's the most action Kevin Owens has gotten in the ring since he's returned from WrestleMania, rather. Oh my God. Oh my God. Another wasted Kevin Owens show turned into a tag team match for these girls, and it was a match. It was a match. It was nothing special. We had a lot of backstage crap happening tonight. Charlie Caruso had a busy night. She found a box in the back. There was a loud noise, she said, the investigative journalist that she is. There was a loud noise over here, and we found a box. And the box has been pushed over. And now there's all these little tiny black thingamajigs on the floor. And who could have done such a dastardly thing like tip over an equipment box in the back? Who could have done such a thing? Teasing this faction? Or, I'm sorry, was it the underground causing all the ruckus? All of that tough-ass fighting? Maybe they got out of there for a second and they had a fight next to that box and the box got pulled over. Maybe they pulled the plug a few times and that's why the mic was going out, because they're downstairs by the power source in the basement by the boiler. Did the heat go out because Babatunde jumped into it? I don't know. I am off the rails with this review. Holy shit, we gotta get through it before I pop a blood vessel. Shelton Benjamin shows up in the back, tells Charlie and MVP, who was back there talking some trash for some shit, saying how he still deserves a shot at the United States Championship. He wants his rematch. Shelton Benjamin shows up. Somebody stole my belt. So We're going to go find out who stole his belt. And that was just the first hour. The second hour got a little bit better at the start because we had Drew McIntyre come out for a promo with Randy Orton. Now, the exchange between these two men was absolutely fantastic. I could do it no justice, but the gist of it is Drew McIntyre came out there and pretty much gave you the standard promo against Randy Orton that everybody uses against Randy Orton. You got a silver spoon in your mouth. You were handed everything because of Cowboy Bob Orton. And I'm sitting there going, why is he saying the same shit Edge said? But then Randy Orton came out and he called him on that. He's like, oh, yeah, well, you're saying everything that everybody says, and I came out here, I gave you respect last week, and you want to come out here and tell me I didn't earn anything? Why don't you tell me something I haven't heard before? And then Randy Orton challenged Drew McIntyre. He said, why don't you do that? Think of something original for once that I haven't heard before. And Drew McIntyre came back with one of the best comebacks I've ever heard. I didn't expect it to go in that particular direction. He said the biggest difference that now he's going to shoot was that he watched The Last Ride, The Undertaker's documentary. And he remembers the part where Randy Orton said to the camera that The Undertaker reached down and pulled him up and made him greater. And then Drew McIntyre said to Randy, when was the last time you did that? When was the last time you were in a ring with an Ali or a Cedric Alexander or one of the new guys and pulled them up to your level? That's a great question. That is a great stance. He also got very intense talking about how Randy Orton should have been fired a bunch of times for all the shit he put the WWE through. Drew McIntyre was just fired that one time and it shouldn't have happened then. Randy Orton passed him by in the hallway, seeing that he was distraught and that his life was in a bad place at the time. He didn't say 2 words to him. Drew McIntyre has a lot of hate in his heart for Randy Orton. And I loved this promo. I thought this was great. It was one of my favorite parts of the show, and considering that the rest of the show was pretty much dog shit, it stands out. It stands out in my mind. I loved all of this. Drew McIntyre pretty much telling the world what we already know about Randy, calling him a selfish prick. He's got a stack of receipts that he's waiting and he's going to hand them out to Randy Orton at SummerSlam. Not just for himself, but for guys that Randy Orton did wrong in the past, for the legends that he's punted in the head, and for all of the talent that he has never helped get to the top. Fantastic stuff. Loved it. But for some reason, I felt like Randy Orton was getting sympathy. I don't know, it feels like a battle between good guys, maybe? I don't know. That's just me personally. Nia Jax was shown in the back, and I went to throw up. Because never when I'm watching wrestling do I want to see Nia Jax. And that's not a dig on her looks. She's a beautiful big woman. I don't like the character of Nia Jax in the WWE. They have ruined it from the outgate, and there is no rectifying it. And she's not helping by being not very well versed at cutting promos and by not being very well versed in pro wrestling. We go backstage to Kevin Owens talking to Ruby Riott and Liv Morgan, saying how he's so happy he could help them out. He's approached by Ric Flair, who says something. I'm not even really sure what the point he was trying to make. I think he was just trying to tell Kevin Owens not to get in Randy Orton's way. That's what I think he was trying to say, but I couldn't really figure it out. If you know a little bit better and you can point it out to me, then you can let me know in the comments below. But what do you think Ric Flair was trying to say? Because that's the only thing I can make out of it. Maybe if Kevin Owens was more like Randy, he'd be the one getting a title shot at SummerSlam. Well, maybe if somebody in the back would book Kevin Owens in a match once in a while, maybe you would see that he earned or deserves a match for the championship at SummerSlam. Good God. Then we go back to the ring, and Nia Jax is standing there, and so I went to throw up again. Because I can't stomach most of the show as it is. It was twisting and turning my intestines in a way that once we hit the Nia Jax button, it was just, I threw up like Seth Rollins seeing a Mysterio eyeball. I can't take it. She's talking to this guy, Buck, whatever his name is, not Joe Buck from Major League Baseball, but somebody. Some WWE producer, the one that she attacked last week, He's out there. She's trying to act like she's going to be all apologetic, and then she turns on him. And then this guy, Bucky Beeve over there, he didn't fire, I'm sorry. He indefinitely suspends Nia Jax. Great. At least I don't have to see her on TV for a while. I don't want them to make this be a thing to bring her back either. Like, just write her off and then that's it. It was a failed experiment. Let it go away. This girl's out there. The best thing she could come up with is calling this guy a ginger and making fun of his size. Typical Vince McMahon writing 101. Oh, he's smaller than you. Call him short. He's got red hair. Call him a ginger. Let's be offensive today. Then you give it to one of the most offensive wrestlers on your roster. Suspended indefinitely without pay, Buck says. And then Nia Jax beat his ass. And I'm supposed to care? I don't. I don't know what it's leading to. I don't know what it's about. I don't know why they gave any time to this segment at all. There was enough time being wasted by the Raw Underground. We didn't need to spend 10 minutes doing absolutely nothing with Nia Jax on television. This only led to the 24/7 championship match, which was another joke. Akira Tozawa defeated Shelton Benjamin and R-Truth because it was a triple threat. And just when you think R-Truth's going to get it back, they got ninjas all over the place once again. And Akira Tozawa wins the golden avocado-colored belt, and nobody still gives a damn. The best thing about that match is that it featured R-Truth. And if you haven't watched the R-Truth game show, and you have the WWE Network, you're missing out. That show is better than this show by far. It's better than anything you will see on cable produced by the WWE. The R-Truth game show is a lot of fun. And I love R-Truth. The best thing about this segment was just being able to see him and hearing the promotion for the R-Truth show. I love R-Truth. He's absolutely fantastic. On Twitter, he cracks me up. On TV, during wrestling, cracks me up. But you gotta be serious sometimes, or else nobody will ever take you seriously. And that's the curse that R-Truth has bestowed upon him. Akira Tozawa, your new avocado champion. Who cares? We coming up on the 10 o'clock hour and we get our first look at the Fight Club bullshit and the downstairs. All that was missing was some fat idiots with some beers and cigars sitting at some tables making bets. You had hot dancing. Well, I'm generously calling them out. They weren't that hot, but I'm not going to be an asshole as much as... Well, yeah, I am. You know what? They weren't hot. They were just three very average, standard girls dressed in lingerie dancing on poles that they had put in the basement. I don't know if there were poles there. My head puts the poles there because I'm a disgusting human being. But that's what I see. ECW dances like Kelly doing the whole... Oh my God, it brings back PTSD from having to watch her rhythmless lack of ass shaking on the fucking ECW stage. But now, we have three girls dancing on a stage, a bunch of guys we've never seen before standing around, banging a ring with no ropes, and Shane McMahon sweating up a storm. And we're supposed to be excited. This is a historic night, they say. Historically bad, maybe. Then we had a little interview with Dominic in the back. Sarah Schreiber's talking to the giant baby son, Dominic. He said the biggest question he gets from the WWE is why does he keep coming to WWE Raw, considering it's so dangerous? I want to ask him why he's still coming to WWE Raw, knowing the type of scripts he's going to be handed. I'm sure he's a smart young man. I'm sure he probably doesn't want to be doing this. I mean, it's probably always been his dream to do what his daddy did in the WWE, but there are other places to do it now, bro. You don't need to be selling this garbage. Dominic said, people think he's crazy. I don't think you're crazy for wanting to get revenge on a guy that's done wrong to your old man. That's a pretty, understandable thing. I think you're crazy because you want to work for the WWE. That's what makes you crazy. And he's challenging Seth Rollins to a match at SummerSlam. Okay, fine. Then we get Shayna Baszler and Sasha Banks. No title up for grabs, no nothing. Ice cold, no momentum, nothing behind it, on free television, and it goes to a no contest and is, as we already mentioned, was disqualified because Asuka attacked Bayley on the outside. Then we come back from commercial. I am almost 110% expecting that they were going to turn this into a tag team matchup. But they didn't. What they did was infinitely worse. They left Asuka out there alone to tell us that Kairi's not here. We all already know this. Only to have Sasha and Bayley come back out, play the whole entrance music again, the whole everything, like nothing even happened 2 minutes ago, and confront Asuka as her and Shayna Baszler are having a conversation. All of a sudden, Shayna Baszler, I guess, wants to be likable. She's saying, well, I can't wait to get the chance to take the belt, and I want to take it from you, Asuka. But she did it in a nice way, not like the Shayna Baszler, I'm going to bite your neck and rip an arm off your shoulders type of Shayna Baszler. Very strange attitude shift for Shayna Baszler, and I hope it's not a permanent thing, but this is WWE, right? So what the hell do we know? Banks and Bayley, and they come back out. Sasha Banks says that Asuka can get her rematch if she beats Bayley on Raw next week. Who cares? We're going to get Asuka versus Sasha Banks for the Women's Championship of Raw at SummerSlam with Shayna Baszler waiting in the wings for the winner. That's the story they're trying to tell. Another story they're trying to tell is the story of Angel Garza, a married man who loves every woman on Raw. He loves Charlie Caruso. I think he's got a little twinkle in his eye for Zelina Vega. And now tonight he's got the hots for some broad from The Bachelor who looked like she was 12 years old. Why are we interpromoting The Bachelor? Is there really a cross-branding of WWE fans that watch USA Network fucking dating shows? Maybe for you younger guys, but, for us married guys, our wives probably watch that shit. We don't. We don't, because it's trash. It's just like WWE. It's scripted, ridiculous trash. Not sexy trash like Klaus from the Umbrella Academy. Ridiculous trash. Like WWE Raw. The Bachelorette has no place in WWE. And she was only there to cause tension between Angel Garza and Zelina Vega. Who cares? Who cared about any of this? I definitely didn't. They showed Shane McMahon downstairs, again with his stupid Fight Club going on, and the dances. He welcomed us to the Raw Underground. Welcome to the Raw Underground, where there are little rules and 100,000 camera cuts that are going to make you feel like you're having a seizure. You want to have something gritty and real that felt different. You don't film it the same way you piss us off when you film wrestling. With every punch and every elbow, every throw, every kick. Camera cut, camera cut, camera cut, camera cut. How can you invest in the action? This actually maybe could have been cool if it was presented in a decent way, but it wasn't. It was just typical WWE production, and it sucked to high hell. Shane introduced Dabba-Kato. That's it. Hey, I did write it in the notes. Dabba-Kato, not Babatunde, Ukabuke, or whatever else I said. He used to be, I think, called Babatunde somewhere else. I know I'm saying it wrong. I don't care. Correct me in the comments if it means that much to you. Dabba-Kato won 2 brawls because the refs stopped these fights. This guy's like 9 feet tall. Vince McMahon's jerking off in the back watching him move, and he can't wait to get him to the main roster so he could turn him into a joke like Braun Strowman in the Big Show. Shane said the Underground will be right back. And then we go back to wrestling. Regular wrestling. I thought we were going to have from 10 to 11 an all-new Raw Underground. I thought Raw was going to be over at 10. I was going to be sitting here at 10:01 talking to you guys. But that's not what happened. Lo and behold, we go back to the regular scheduled in-ring action, and we get 2 back-to-back singles matches to push the tag team championships of Raw. The Street Profits come out there, and Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins have singles matches versus Garza and Andrade. How stupid is this? Why would you do both of these matches on the same night? There are weeks to go before SummerSlam. I've said this about past tag team angles. It's very, very simple. You have the initial confrontation, then you have both one-on-one matchups every week as you progress towards SummerSlam and the title match. You don't do them and burn them out both in one night, and you also don't have Montez Ford fake being murdered. Montez Ford was poisoned today at Monday Night Raw. This is a real thing that happened. In the moment, while I was watching, I thought maybe he lost his... He's a good actor because he got me for the first couple of minutes. I thought maybe he got winded or something and he passed out and fainted in the ring. When that happens to a pro wrestler, having trained in pro wrestling, I get immediately concerned. Because if you don't know whether it's a work or not, you get worried about the guy. But the longer it went on and the more they talked about it and the more it was popping up on social media and the WWE accounts going, oh, what happened to Montez Ford? I replied back to them on Twitter, you should be telling us that, you fucking idiots. Obviously, it didn't get a like or a reply. But that's not why I said it. I said it because they needed to hear it. And once I seen that, I knew this was nothing to worry about. And then we get made privy to the information backstage that he was poisoned. Angel Garza defeated Angelo Dawkins, Montez Ford, and Andrade no contest because he passed out due to the poisoning. Another terrible, terrible finish on this night. Then we go to the back and we have to hear Seth Rollins talking to Buddy Murphy. And I wasn't really paying attention to what he had to say because I could give two shits about the Monday Night Messiah. He is as boring as shit. He could take his man bun and go back to K. Why don't he go and find out who knocked over the box? Maybe that would be better worth his time. Awful. We go back to the shit. See how ridiculous the show is? We go back to the underground where we see the Viking Raider Warrior Raiders versus this Tough Kid. Tough Kid didn't even have a name. Hey, Tough Kid. Welcome to the underground, nobody. You're going to lose to the one guy that everybody knows. So they're taking all the losers, putting them in the underground, and finally giving them wins. And we're supposed to care. There's still one more underground fight before the night's going away, so better stay tuned. I wanted to kill myself. They go to the back, and they're outside of the trainer's room. We're going to get an update on Montez Ford. Angel Garza shows up, and Charlie Caruso forgets to be a professional. She's in the middle of an important update on something that many people probably want to know. But you decided instead to cream your panties and give Google Wise to Angel Garza, completely disregarding your job as a journalist. Okay, fine, I get it. You got a crush. I don't care. But then Dawkins comes out. He's talking about how they think he was poisoned in the trainer's room. And then Bianca Belair comes out of the shadows because she's been nowhere to be found. She's been replaced by Liv Morgan. They wasted their time with Bianca Belair, putting her with Ruby Riott. They knew that this wasn't going to be a thing, but, they don't know how to do anything. But this was actually a good moment made from a bad situation because Bianca Belair is hot fire, man. She's fantastic. She came out there because they messed with her man, and she is blaming Garza and Andrade, which is logical, being that they're their opponents and that they would have the most to gain from doing something so heinous like that. So Bianca Belair went at Zelina Vega, and it was just chaos, man. They ended up having to be pulled apart. So Bianca Belair took off her earrings. She was like, hold my shit, Dawkins, and she was ready to rock Zelina Vega. It was an interesting moment, and that's a match I would love to see. Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega would be fantastic. Zelina Vega does not get enough credit. She's very, very good in the ring. You wouldn't know that because they keep her outside the ring, but I think they got something here if they decide to stick with it and make it interesting, which we all know is about, 60-40 that they're going to blow it. Then we got to see the camera footage, the debut of the new faction, Antifa, the ISIS faction, just dressed in all black, with regular black ski masks, outside the Performance Center throwing Molotovs at a transistor or whatever generator in the back, explaining the production difficulties that really happened at the front end of the show and then stopped happening altogether. One of the best moments of the night when the mic went out on Kevin Owens and he and the Iconics during their exchange, and Kevin Owens asked the production team, can we make sure that the technical difficulties only happen to the Iconics, please? I thought that was great. Other than that, the technical difficulties were more annoying than anything. They didn't build intrigue. It was just kind of annoying. Charlie Caruso then approached the Hurt Business backstage. She asked about the troubles for MVP and Benjamin tonight. They both are a couple of losers, and this really made MVP mad because she told them the truth. She also told them about the Raw Underground. Shane McMahon's little crew is in the basement downstairs. And then the Hurt Business decide they're going to go and visit the Raw Underground. Kevin Owens versus Randy Orton and Asuka versus Bayley were announced for next week. We then have to relive the whole eye for an eye, Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins thing. Rollins and Murphy came out for the promo. They turned their attention immediately to Tom Phillips, asked if he was truly a professional journalist, an unbiased journalist, and if he took pride in his work. He said Ray's stupid kid was attacking him and Phillips was cheering on Dominic. And he was laughing and found great enjoyment in that segment, as most of us did. And it's Tom's job to call it down the middle and not be a biased journalist. Said it was time maybe to find a new voice of Raw and ordered Buddy Murphy to go get Tom Phillips, and they were going to do something bad to this guy. Maybe they were going to rip his eye out by pushing it into his skull, which is physically impossible. But Samoa Joe stood up, and I liked this. Samoa Joe stood up for his broadcast partner. He took all of his equipment off. He's sitting there going, you don't want to do this? He said, you think you're going to take this out on him, but you're going to have to go through me, kind of thing. It was really good. They showed Samoa Joe getting ready to get in the ring because Rollins backed off, and he's like, fine, Joe, you want this? You come get this right now. And then Joe's all getting ready to get in the ring, and then we come back from commercial break, and nothing has happened. Nothing has happened. Samoa Joe's still standing out there, I guess taking off another shirt or something because they didn't really show him. They showed Seth and Buddy in the ring with chairs, and then out of nowhere, Dominic comes hitting everybody all over the place with the kendo stick. This was actually pretty good. I just don't understand the logic in making the kid go over so well over a former WWE champion and former Cruiserweight champion. This is his first appearance. He got the best of Seth Rollins, but I'm forgiving of it because of the vengeance thing. Like, of course, the kid's going to be running on all cylinders. He got lucky here, right? And he got the best of these two guys, pulled off a beautiful 619. He did it very well. He did a very impressive body splash off the top rope. Kid's got it. And I look forward to seeing it. He just looks so significantly younger than everybody else on the roster that it almost looks like child abuse. And I'm not trying to be a dick. I'm just telling you what I see. This segment was by far one of the better things on the show. But still, it's just a continuation of something that I'm tired of kind of seeing. Seth and Mysterio, I'm done with it. Dolph Ziggler was in the Raw Underground. I don't know if I mentioned it before. I probably did because, hey, they put all the losers in the Underground to finally give them a win to make you think Dolph Ziggler's a tough guy. Huh? Dolph Ziggler sitting down there shoe fighting. You think he could beat anybody down there? I don't know. Based on what we see from Dolph Ziggler week in and week out, he shouldn't have been down there at all. The Hurt Business shows up after Dolph Ziggler wins his match. He beats some nobody with a rear naked chokehold. The Hurt Business shows up. They took the microphone from Shane McMahon and commandeered the Raw Underground. Shane McMahon started this thing less than an hour ago, and MVP and his buddies show up and take it over. It's theirs now. The Hurt Business is in the fight business, I guess, for once. And after watching you guys lose all night long, why am I supposed to give a shit that you beat up a bunch of nobodies? How is that impressive? How does that put them back over? There was nobody in there worth a damn They issued an open challenge. They pick on some real little guy. Then they pick on a couple other guys. Then they just start beating up everybody until nobody's left but the Hurt Business in the middle of the ring. Shane McSweatstain shows back up. He tells MVP Lashley and Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin that anything that goes on here stays here. You know, what happens in Fight Club stays in Fight Club. And they can stay as long as they like. MVP ends the show saying, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Hurt Business, and business is booming. How is business booming when you's lost like a couple of assholes? I don't understand the logic. MVP is going to lose any claim to the United States Championship that he has. Shelton Benjamin lost a meaningless bullshit green-colored gold-plated title, and Bobby Lashley hasn't done a goddamn thing worth anything. And now they're tough guys who are supposed to be scared of the Hurt Business because they took out a bunch of losers in a basement? This show is an abomination of professional wrestling. I hated every minute of it. Before I go, I just want to check my Twitter because I was on fire. Right off the bat at the start of before the show even started, the brainchild of Shane McMahon. They said this is the brainchild of Shane McMahon. Whatever it is, if Shane is involved, I knew it wasn't going to be good. I already hated it before I even knew what it was because Shane McMahon plus TV equals go to the bathroom and take a dump because it's not worth my time. I would rather be watching The Rock do XFL paperwork now that the Great One owns the XFL than have to watch Monday Night Raw. You could show me him for 24 hours straight from CCTV footage, just watching The Rock sitting there signing sideways with your candy ass and all your football and this and that. You know, you could even cut the audio. I'll watch The Rock just sitting there in his sunglasses like signing fucking papers because that would be more entertaining and actually more meaningful than an episode of Monday Night Raw. You know what kind of shows don't piss me off? These are shows you guys should be watching because I need to talk about something positive before we sign off. Check out the Umbrella Academy on Netflix. Transformers War for Cybertron just released. It was the first part of it has been released. It's like 6 episodes. I thought it was very good. If you're a Transformers fan, you should go check that out. And what the hell else am I watching? I'm watching Toast of London on Netflix. You got to be watching What We Do in the Shadows, one of the best comedies on all of FX right now. Other than that, these are all the things that I was hoping to be doing or watching while watching Raw instead. I could have been watching all this other stuff. But I wasted 3 hours of my night being spoon-fed garbage loads of shit as the poop hammers rained down throughout this show. And I didn't pull up the graphic because I'm just too hot. I'm too hot, man. I forgot to hit the button. It's okay. I'll hit it for you now if you're still with me and you missed it. This entire show should be rained down upon by poop hammer after poop hammer after poop freaking hammer. It was just that bad. Peyton Royce during the show. Oh, everyone's tired of hearing you two. That's ironic. Get it? See what I did there? She's telling people what people are telling her. We're tired of hearing you two talk. Shut the hell up. Oh my God. That's it. We're not going to go through the rest of the feed. I pretty much hit all the points I needed to hit. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here with me again for another hammering of Monday Night Raw. One of the most troublesome episodes of the year so far. Attempted murder, arsony, fight clubs, Nia Jax, ninjas. I'm done. I swear to God, I feel like I'm done. I want to throw my hands up with the whole thing, but I know you guys looking for me. My sledgeheads need me, and I'm going to be here as long as I can hold out. I don't know how much longer that's going to be. I'm sweating harder than Shane McMahon on a Monday night right now because it's like 1,000,000 degrees outside here in New York City. Even though we're in the middle of a tropical storm, it is humid as shit. And I got to get out of here and go jump in the shower to cool off because I'm dripping worse than Shano. And that's pretty disgusting. So thank you guys all so very much for being here. If you missed anything else on the channel this week, our drawing of Alexa Bliss, our review of SmackDown, our review of the horror show at Extreme Rules, or anything else, it'll be linked in the annotations up above. My name is Nick Nightmare. This is the team Thor the Sledgehammer, the official Sledgehammer of the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show. His tag team partner, the World Heavyweight Champion of all the microphones in all the world, Mr. Blue the Snowball. The most important member of the team, as always, is each and every one of you. So don't forget to like this video, share this video, and subscribe to Sledgehammer TV for more awesome wrestling content where we bring the hammer down on WWE programming like nobody else in this industry. And I'm one of the guys you ain't gonna see whacking off every time an NXT guy shows up because, hey, with their track record, they ain't going anywhere. Even if the Undisputed shows up next week, you got no reason to be excited about it because look at everybody else. Where are they? Where's Shinsuke? Huh? Where's Kevin Owens? Where's literally anybody else called up from NXT? How long did it take them to get moving on Baszler? Come on, you guys. Stop getting hyped. Let them do something for you to be hyped about before you get all overexcited. Come on. That's going to do it. Thank you all so very much. We are out of here, and we will see you next time right here on your new favorite wrestling show, the Sledgehammer Wrestling Show, only on Sledgehammer TV, right here on YouTube.com. And don't forget to pick up your masks right now, teespring.com/store/Sledgehammer TV for the official Sledgehammer Wrestling Show face masks, available all summer long. Thank you so much. Love you guys, and we will see you Friday for SmackDown.